Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 of them were foolish.
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
But the wise took oil in the vessels with their lamps.
While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept, and at midnight a cry went up, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him.
And all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps have gone out.
But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but rather go ye to those that sell.
And while they went out to buy, the bridegroom came, and those that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh.
Nestled in a grove of trees, at the top of a steep hill, there was a shop, and every person who toiled up the path to the top came for the same reason, to buy oil. The shopkeeper was a young man with thick brown hair. His large hands were strong but gentle. He spent much of his time sitting at a wooden workbench, carefully sculpting small oil-burning lamps. It was his tradition to give one of these lamps to each person who moved into the village. Each lamp was meticulously crafted, and each was different from the others. Some were round, others were oval. Some were made of ordinary clay, and others were made of terracotta. Some were perfectly smooth, while others had intricate designs tooled into their surfaces. But all of them held oil, and all of them produced light. The shopkeeper carefully sculpted each lamp to complement a quality he hoped each woman would develop within herself. With time and effort, each woman could become
a woman of the Scriptures,
A woman who takes the Spirit as her guide,
A woman who keeps the commandments,
A woman who respects sacred things,
A woman of humility,
a woman who is loyal,
a woman of service,
A woman of preparation,
A woman of prayer,
A woman of grace, personal conversion, and holiness.
With her lamp, each woman was given a choice. She could use her gift carelessly, foolishly thinking she had plenty of time to prepare. Or she could use her gift at all times and in all things and in all places. The shopkeeper reminded each woman to return to his shop often. The tiny flame the lamp produced could not be maintained without an ongoing supply of oil, and the lampmaker's shop was the only source of oil in the village. But the path to the top of the hill was steep, and the journey took time and effort. Those seeking oil would arrive at the lampmaker's shop at all times of the day and night, and each was met with a warm welcome, no matter the hour. The shopkeeper's brown eyes would light up when the lamp owner came to his door, and he would always set aside his work to visit. Everyone knows his face, the shopkeeper on the hill. All through the night the light in his window burns as he works the clay, and everyone waits to see the lamp he's designed for her. Carefully crafted, perfectly planned to be just as unique as she, a sculpture precious oil she needs. He seems to look inside each heart and shape a work of art that only he can fill. The shopkeeper on the hill. She knows where she will find the shopkeeper on the hill. Rugged and steep, each step of it worth the climb. Whenever she takes the time, he reminds her to return, so her lamp will always burn with the oil he freely gives. It holds the light to guide her path. He hopes she'll bring the lamp that only he can fill. His door is open still, the shopkeeper on the hill. He waits at the window. One of the first women to receive a lamp from the shopkeeper was Eliana.
I use my lamp to light the shadowed corners of my small home. When evening comes, I often sit next to its warm glow and read from my favorite books. Sometimes when I've finished reading, I set my book down next to the lamp, wrap a soft blanket around my shoulders, and then watch the flame flicker and dance. My lamp has seen me through joy and celebration, and has given me comfort through disappointment and discouragement. Even now, after years of use, the flame still burns as brightly as it did the day the lamp was made. My lamp was the first that was made, carefully sculpted in pale yellow clay, strengthened by fire and refined, shaped and prepared to endure over time, through heartache and joy, by day and by night. It reminds me of treasures I've read by its light. It's more than a gift that he gave long ago. This lamp holds the light that brings peace to my soul. A flame that is constant through change, still burning as bright as the day it was made. Its warmth reassures that he listens to me, and he lovingly, so tenderly speaks what I need. It's guided me all of my days and led me through valleys of sorrows I faced, bringing me comfort and strength, giving me courage to trust him in faith, It's more than a gift that he gave long ago. This lamp holds the light that brings peace to my soul. A flame that is constant through change, still burning as bright as the day it was made. Its warmth reassures that he listens to me, and he lovingly, so tenderly speaks. The words of the shopkeeper live in my heart, whispering truth that shines light in the dark. A flame that is constant through change, still burning as bright as the day it was made. Its warmth reassures that he listens to me, and he lovingly, so tenderly speaks what I need. Always tenderly speaks what I need.
The shopkeeper worried for Ashira because she was always so rushed and hurried. He watched her run in and out of her house all day long. Half the time she had to run back for her shoes. Most of the time she forgot to take her lamp. He knew of her great responsibility as a teacher, healer, mender, and caregiver. But he also knew the concerns of her heart.
Sometimes it's all I can do to get myself dressed in the morning. The sun comes up over the mountain and off I go. Sometimes I feel like I'm everything to everybody. On the other hand, I feel like I never get anything accomplished. Sometimes I look at the shop on the hill and I think, today's going to be the day. Somewhere between scrubbing the floors and washing the dishes and reading to the village children and going to the market, somewhere I'll find the time. Always on the back of my mind, somehow I will find the time to visit you, to learn you. But in trying to do everything, I'm missing the most important thing, to know you.
The shopkeeper knew that each woman used her lamp in her own way. He also knew that those who visited his shop most frequently were those who used their lamp most often. As he was asked to do so, the shopkeeper would refill the tiny lamps with oil, drop by drop, according to each woman's need. Dinah was the first to ask the shopkeeper for a vessel to hold more oil. It seemed that the supply in her lamp was not enough to keep the flame burning between her frequent visits to the shop. Dinah was known throughout the village for her ability to bring comfort at any time of the day or night.
I use my lamp to light my way as I travel to the homes of the villagers in the darkest hours of the night. Because I use my lamp constantly, I was worried that I might run out of oil in my travels through the darkness. So I went to the shopkeeper and I asked him to make me a vessel, one that I could carry extra oil in during my travels. My lamp has brightened the homes of the sick and warmed the lives of the lonely. It has accompanied me in moments when I have seen sorrow and times when I have witnessed grief. It's in your eyes, but hard to see. You've hidden it well, still I sense your need. But you don't have to walk alone. I know a simple way to brighten up your road. Until your heart begins to mend and the last tear falls, till the shadows of the evening have given way to morning and a flicker of hope returns and your own light burns. I've weathered storms, I've felt the pounding rain. I am no stranger to grief and pain. But through it all, His love has been true. Now I want to share the hope and peace I feel with you. I will fill my vessel and light my flame. I will wait with you. I will stay with you until your heart begins to mend and the last tear falls, till the shadows of the evening have given way to morning and a flicker of hope returns and your own light burns.
Nava's lamp was molded from beautiful deep orange clay. After carefully inscribing an intricate floral design across the top of the lamp, the shopkeeper gently placed it in the kiln. Nava knew that her lamp was something to be treasured, and she carried it everywhere she went.
As I walked home with my new lamp, I knew this gift was something to be treasured. And so, even though I carry it with me wherever I go, I rarely light my lamp. Sometimes, on special occasions, I sit down at the table in my kitchen and carefully pull the wick through the small opening at the top. I have to trim off the used and blackened portion of the wick. This ensures the flame will burn bright and true. Sometimes I sit and look at the soft glowing beauty of the flame and wonder why I don't light my lamp more often. Beautiful, so beautiful, the spirit of this dancing flame, flickering, awakening, a longing for this feeling to remain. I can't deny it. There's no excuse, it's always with me, but rarely used. In the stillness of this moment, there are traces of regret. I try so hard to deny it, but it's so easy to forget. Lovingly, so carefully, hidden in this intricate design, beckoning, calling me, always something here for me to find. These precious moments have become so few. Why do I forget? There's so much to lose. This treasure I've been given is a gift I can't neglect. I'll try so hard to remember, but it's so easy to forget. I will try to remember.
The shopkeeper watched Gabriella closely for many days before he finally came up with the perfect design for her lamp. She was an unassuming woman and rarely called attention to herself, which made the task more challenging. She was also gentle and wise beyond her years. Her clothing was unadorned and beautiful in its simplicity. She had a natural style and elegance that were all her own.
Every morning I make my narrow way up the path that leads to the shopkeeper. I'm beginning to realize spending more time with him will help me to become more like him. He makes me feel welcome every time I visit. It is my hope that those who come to my home to visit will find me to be a loyal friend such as he is, one who speaks of others with respect and admiration. When the shopkeeper asked me what I hoped for, I asked him to make my lamp simple. He molded the clay into an oval shape that fits perfectly in the palm of my hand. With painstaking care, he smoothed away each rough spot and imperfection. My lamp is simple, allowing those who see it to focus on the flame. Take my eyes, clear my my view. Heal my blindness until all I see is you. Take my lips that I may speak words of kindness that comfort, lift, and heal. Help me stand against the winds that blow. Make my feet to walk the path that you have shown. So I'll be more faithful and devoted. I'll be more worthy of your name. Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before? Through you I can become more.
Addie wondered if she would ever be enough, and the shopkeeper watched her struggle. He had crafted her lamp with a complicated geometric design, one that would stand out. Still, Addie spent much of her time comparing it with the lamps he had made for the others.
I feel that I am so much less than everyone else in this village. It doesn't matter what I do. It always seems that I'm never enough. Sometimes I feel that my lamp isn't as nice as the lamps the shopkeeper gave the others. In some ways, my lamp is beautiful, but in others, I feel that it is lacking.
The shopkeeper knew that Addie would quickly tire of her lamp, and so he hid a yellow diamond pattern in the intricate design of the brown clay. With use, the diamond design would show through. Uncomprehending, Addie longed for more. Would she ever discover the hidden treasure that she already carried with her?
Am I enough? What do others see? When they pass me by, I wonder what they think. If they knew how I really felt inside, how I want to change the insecurities I hide. Simple and plain, nothing beautiful or grand. But could I be if placed in your hands? Could I be more confident and happy? Could I be more sure of who I am? Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before? Through you, I hope to become more.
I'll be more.
I want to be more
faithful and devoted. I'll be more.
I want to be more. Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before? Through you, can I become
I can become more.
Liraz had a hard time waiting for the lamp maker to finish her lamp. As the shopkeeper was crafting her lamp, she would often run into his shop, pulling her wind-blown hair back into place, her round brown eyes wide with anticipation.
I visited the shopkeeper every day and watched as he sat at his workbench molding my lamp. I could hardly wait for the moment that it would be done. He often said that he appreciated my company and enjoyed our conversations. Now that my lamp is finished, my visits to the shopkeeper is less often. The journey up the hill is just way too long. In the morning, I'm too busy, and in the evening, I'm just too tired. But in my desperation, I do go to him, and each time, it seems that he is grateful for my visit. I can tell him anything. That's the way it's always been. And every time I talk to him, it makes my day. I see his light in the distance, and I don't forget to wave as my life goes by. In my desperate hour, comfort me when I've been in tears and fallen at his door. And now I try to stop for a visit as I run from place to place, but then the time goes by. Someday soon I'll spend the day telling him everything and listening to his gentle voice. Maybe someday I'll have that kind of time, but not today. I hope he understands. He understands my tender heart. He understands my restless soul. He loves my smile, and he knows the things that make me cry. I know that I need to see him and tell him how I've been before the night goes by.
Malka's lamp was hewn from a beautiful piece of soft red sandstone. After the shopkeeper had given her the gift, she looked at it in wonder. She was amazed that the shopkeeper had gone to the effort to make her such a beautiful gift.
When the shopkeeper gave me my lamp, I noticed how unique the design is. It must have taken him hours to carve and smooth it. I thanked him for the gift and put it carefully in my pocket. Sometimes I look at my lamp and I can't believe how lucky I am that the shopkeeper would take such time to make me such a special gift. But none of my friends ever uses her lamp. Besides, I know the village so well, I don't need a light to guide my way. I rarely light it at all. I can see just fine through the darkness. But my lamp really is beautiful, so I set it out in my home as a decoration for all my friends to see.
What a beautiful piece of work, a magnificent work of art. I've never seen a design like this, or as finely crafted a lamp as this magnificent work of art. How many hours did it take to carve and smooth and shape? Oh, what an honor and joy this is. I'm flattered with such a gift as this magnificent piece of work. I guess I could take it out, but it could get worn, it might get broken, some misfortune or happenstance. Could I really take that chance on this beautiful piece of work, magnificent work of art, to show just what it means to me? I'll display it with care so all can see this beautiful piece of work, magnificent work of art.
After the shopkeeper gave Leora her lamp, he had watched her take the hands of other villagers and by its light lead them through the darkness. He noticed that every time her path met another, she would pause, lift her lamp in front of her, and consider her direction. Because it was hard for Leora to focus in the darkness, the shopkeeper worried that she might become lost when she came to a fork or a bend in the road. He knew that without enough light, she would not be able to find her way.
One day the shopkeeper took a branch outside of his shop and he whittled it until it was a smooth pole. Then he crafted a beautifully fine cup so that my lamp would fit perfectly in it. He must have known that I would treasure this gift. On the first day that I had it, I was walking through the darkness on the path, and I noticed that whenever I raised my lamp, it would light the entire path in front of me. I also noticed, too, that as the night grew darker, my lamp grew brighter. This wonderful gift helped me lead those that were out wandering in the night, to help the weary, the lost, and the heartbroken find their way. Evening lights retire one by one, tired eyes are setting with the sun, and though the day has just begun, some walk in shadows, faces that I've never seen before. Some I know so well I can't ignore. Their voices calling at the door. Lost as the wind blows, and by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows, like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows, bringing hope, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light. I would every single part, every hidden corner of my heart, to mend a world that's torn apart, healing the aching, reaching out. Something in my soul cries out loud, not for me, but so much more for those who wander in the cold, trembling and shaking. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows, bringing hope, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light. And should it fade away, its ashes turn to gray, it's not too late. For every fire that dies, the sun will fail to rise another day. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows, giving hope, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light.
Jessa wasn't sure how it had happened. She woke up one morning to find her lamp in broken pieces on the floor. Perhaps it had blown off during the furious winds that had preceded the storm. She was devastated.
My heart was broken. I could barely see through my tears as I picked up the shattered pieces and placed them gently on the table. Every time I walked by, I would close my eyes and wonder, will this heartache ever end? After many days, I accepted what I had known all along. There was only one who could restore my lamp. So I gathered up the pieces and started up the hill. It began to rain, and then the path became slippery, and then the downpour came. The wind whipped the hair in my eyes, and I could barely see. When I realized I wasn't going to make it, I cried out for help. In an instant, he was there. The shopkeeper had been walking just below me. He covered me with his heavy, warm cloak, then gathered me in his steady, strong arms and carried me up the hill. After the storm, he sent me back down the hill with two precious gifts, my restored lamp and a grateful heart. I've walked through sorrow till I could walk no more. I've felt the winds of change blow so hard it chilled me to the core, and pain has knocked at my door. But I have never heard like this before. Only one can take the pieces of my heart and make them whole. Only one can part the darkness and bring light into my aching soul. One way I'll pick up the pieces, every little one. I'll gather all of them, even those that seem impossible to fix, and I'll place them all in his hands. What I cannot restore, he can. Only one can take the pieces of my heart and make them whole. Only one can part the darkness and bring light into my aching soul. One way, one light, one hope, only
In time, the shopkeeper decided to marry and chose a bride. Each of the 10 women received an invitation to the wedding, and each was asked to take part in one of the village's most honored customs. On the night of the wedding, they would use their lamp to light the doorway of the home where the wedding would be held. The glow from their lamps would bring honor to the groom as he entered the home for the celebration. It was a great privilege to be given this invitation, one that many women waited a lifetime to receive. The women could barely contain their excitement for the events that were about to unfold. And finally, the long-awaited day arrived. The 10 women made their way through the crowded streets to the entry of the home where the wedding would be held. And the shopkeeper watched from the top of the hill and waited. Finally, the 10 chosen women arrived at their destination. Each found a comfortable place in the alcove of the doorway and settled down to wait. Time passed slowly, and growing weary, the women closed their eyes and slept. The 11th hour came and went. The entire village grew quiet under the soft glow of the moon. And still, the shopkeeper watched from the top of the hill and waited. One day the light giver will come and claim those who bear his flame. The very trees and skies will praise his name, and some will run to meet him and find his arms at last. Others will know their time has passed. The door will close and they will go, never to enter in. They will not not know him when he comes. Then, at precisely the darkest hour of the night, when a hush had fallen over the sleeping village, those villagers who had patiently waited and watched raised a cry. The silence was broken. The women awoke with a start. The moment was at hand. It was time to trim their lamps. Suddenly alert, Jessa quickly used her extra oil to fill her darkened lamp. A lifetime of waiting had come to an end, and she hoped she had made sufficient preparation. Gabriella reached for her vessel and filled her simple lamp with all the remaining oil she had. As she carefully tucked her empty vessel away, Nava, who was sitting beside her, let out a small cry. Her flame had gone out. Her lamp was empty. She had not brought any extra oil. What would she do now?
I have looked forward to this night for as long as I can remember. I desperately want to go to this wedding, but my preparations just weren't enough. Why didn't I think to get more oil? The thought never crossed my mind.
Frantic, Nava turned to Gabriella to see if she had extra oil, but there was none to spare. She watched the other women trim their lamps as tears ran down her cheeks and fell on the empty flowered lamp that she cradled in the folds of her dress. Realizing her mistake, Nava fell weeping. With the bridegroom approaching, the preparations around her intensified, and some other women in the group realized that they were short of oil.
I have been so consumed with the running of my house that I never made it to the shop on the hill to get more oil. I simply ran out of time.
I haven't been to the shopkeeper in quite some time. The days turned into months, and I lost track. It never occurred to me that he would come such late in the evening. I did not prepare for the delay.
I wondered if there really would be a wedding. I considered buying oil for my lamp, but since I rarely use it, I thought it might go to waste.
I used my time to find a new dress for the wedding. I looked and thought, just one more store and I'll find it. And then I realized there was no time to fill my oil.
The 5 women rushed over to Dina and Leora and fell at their feet, begging for help. These women had brightened the darkness for them in the past. Surely they would share their oil. But what had been prepared could not be shared in an instant. Every drop was needed now. They could not risk letting their own lamps run empty. As much as they longed to help their friends, there was nothing they could do. Finally, weeping tears of frustration, the 5 foolish women turned to Eliana. The wise woman could give them nothing but advice.
I'm sorry, but you must go out into this dark night and find oil. Buy what you can and then return. But please, hurry. He is coming.
Clutching their empty lamps, the frantic women rushed out through the garden gate into the village streets. They would never make it back in time. The 5 remaining women carefully trimmed their wicks and finished emptying their oil from their vessels into their lamps. The bridegroom was on his way through the crowded streets. He turned the corner just in time to see the 5 foolish women running towards the hill. His heart ached for their lack of preparation. Then he lifted his eyes to the doorway and took in a sight he had waited a lifetime to see. Leora was there with her finely crafted pole, holding her lamp high. The flame from Gabriella's simple lamp lit up her eyes, which glistened with anticipation. Dina lifted her lamp so the flame could dance with the others, adding a soft glow to the brilliant display of light. Eliana rested a wrinkled hand on Dina's arm and lifted her yellow lamp as high as her frail arm could reach. And quiet Jessa stood, her lamp cupped carefully in both hands, while tears of overwhelming gratitude streamed down her cheeks. These 5 wise women had each come to know the bridegroom, and their hearts filled with joy as they watched him stride through the garden gate and down the pathway that led to the great wooden door.
He lifted me and comforted me.
He believed in me and encouraged me.
When I was weak, he made me strong.
There were times when I thought I could not go on. He made up the difference.
When I found discouragement, he offered consoling peace.
The shopkeeper paused and greeted each of the women one by one. Then he invited them in for the wedding feast. Together, the 5 women raised their lamps in a final tribute and went in with him into the marriage, and the great wooden door was shut. And at that day, when I shall come in my glory, shall the parable be fulfilled which I spake concerning the 10 virgins. For they that are wise and have received the truth and have taken the Holy Spirit for their guide and have not been deceived, verily I say unto you, they shall not be hewn down and cast into the fire, but shall abide the day. For the Lord shall be in their midst, and his glory shall be upon them. We are all invited to the feast. Each of us is welcome, from the greatest to the least. We hold the invitation in our hands. It's written in each crevice of our own lamps. I promise I'll prepare to be there on that day, dancing in the glory as we celebrate.
Like a lamp, the Master planned each of us with his grand design. The oil is the light I will burn through the night as I wait for him to come again. There will always be enough if I run to him to fill it up, drop by drop, till I know him perfectly when he comes for me.
Humble hearts are waiting for the day, faithfully preparing for the chance to light his way. Guardians of the vessels that will burn, watching for the Master to return. Maker of the gift that only he can fill, keeper of the precious oil is waiting still. Like a lamp, the Master planned each of us with his grand design. The oil is the light I will burn through the night as I wait for him to come again. There will always be enough if I run to him to fill it up, drop by drop, till I know him perfectly when he comes for me. And I will kiss the
and I know him perfectly.
I'll be worthy of my King when he comes.